morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you so much for making it to what I am pretty sure is the furthest point in the conference center and for finding the room. My name's Ilya Bukshteyn. I have the privilege of leading part of the Teams product group. I'm responsible for Teams Calling, which is Teams Phone as our brand, using Teams as a cloud calling and PBX system. Teams Devices, of which probably the most known is Teams Rooms, which myself and Irina and Albert came up with a few years ago now. And most recently, Premium Experiences, which includes events, Teams Premium and all the capabilities there, and the Mesh immersive capabilities. And I have to say, for me, it's just so great, such a pleasure to be back doing this physically. I don't know about you, but I really miss this. Online for these events is better than nothing, but it's just not the same as being with 10,000 or so of our customers and partners. So again, so happy to be here and so thrilled that you could make it to this session. Now, we today are living this new normal of this kind of event where we are physically here, and then a lot more of our fellow customers and partners and Microsoft employees are joining us online. This is the new normal for work. That new normal involves a lot of flexibility so that people, teams, companies can get their work done in a way that is the most productive, most flexible, most adaptable to our changing market. And for many of you, all of us at Microsoft, many, many workers worldwide, Teams is really the home for this new normal of work. Teams is where all of us get together to collaborate, communicate, and get work done. So in this session, over the next 45 minutes, which is awesome, by the way, because they haven't actually started the clock until I said that. Because they told me the feed is cut at 0, so I was taking that extra minute. Over the next 45 minutes, I've got the pleasure of talking about the new capabilities in Teams that we are delivering to make the way you communicate smarter and to help you transform your workplace to keep up with this new normal of flexible work. And we don't think this new normal is static. It's going to continue to change. Companies are going to continue to adapt. Some very well-known companies have said they want to go back to pre-pandemic times and have everyone in the office all the time. Some companies have tried that and then reversed. It'll keep happening. Companies now have the tools and increasingly AI-powered capabilities to adapt to be the most productive with their workforce. And it's going to look different for every organization. But if you're like me, you have found a rhythm that is truly flexible for you and your team. In fact, our data shows that now 91% of folks like you come to the office at least 1 day a week, but not full-time. So for me, that looks like coming to the office most Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. My team, my direct reports join me on Tuesdays. That's when we have our leadership team meeting. We try to schedule our product reviews on Thursdays, and Wednesdays tend to be other meetings where we try to focus at least half or so of the attendees in the office. So we found a rhythm that works. But we pretty much are never truly all in the same place because my team is distributed. We have folks in Canada, we have folks all over the United States, we have folks joining us in many of our meetings from China, from India. So the reality is that what we used to talk about as hybrid and is really now all about flexibility, that's here to stay based on our workforce, at least for us. Keeping that distributed workforce productive, feeling happy, feeling energized, that's going to be the mission for us and certainly I think many of your companies. And to do that, as I said, we know so many of you have bet on Teams and the AI capabilities that we are building into Teams, frankly, as quickly as possible. And if you went to the keynote, you certainly heard Satya, Rajesh, and many others talk about Microsoft 365 Copilot in Teams, our new meeting facilitator agent, many other AI capabilities, some of which you're actually going to see live, real code in action in a few minutes. As I said, your companies from pretty much every industry have adopted Teams, and maybe the thing I'm most proud of on behalf of my team is that you are adopting the products we build as extra value capabilities. There are over 22 million phone-enabled users of Microsoft Teams, over 1 million monthly active Teams rooms, and of course, Teams Premium growing incredibly quickly. Put together, 75% of our enterprise customers use 1, 2, or in most cases, all 3 of these capabilities. And I can't thank you enough for betting on the work of the teams that build these products. We know that having so many of you bet your businesses on Teams comes with a lot of responsibility. So the first thing we think about whenever we look at our product planning and our resourcing is the fundamentals: performance, security, and fundamentals. Now, this is where we really understand that the little things can add up and matter a lot. With the hundreds of millions of people that use Teams every day, just changing between chats, that's done billions of times a day. So when we released the new Teams and made 17% faster improvement in switching chats, that saved days of productivity in just a day. We're going to continue to focus on performance, on fundamentals, on security, and this is actually our single biggest investment in Teams. So you have our commitment to take all of your feedback, all of your input in these areas extremely seriously. But we're not going to stop at fundamentals, of course. You've also asked us to continue to make Teams simpler to use, more seamless across all of the capabilities, smarter with AI, and of course, more and more secure as all sorts of nefarious actors are trying to find constantly new vectors to get into your organizations. So this is the framework through which I want to talk about the new capabilities that we're delivering. As I said, for all of us, I think, in this room, Teams has become the hub of communication and collaboration. With AI, Teams has transformed how we work. It's an essential app for all of you and me. And our goal is to make sure that that experience of using Teams continues to improve. So if you're like me, you use Teams on an iPad. The iPad is what I carry to every meeting. And it has been a great experience. I typically have Teams and Outlook side by side, but there are definitely times when I wish I could dedicate more real estate to Teams so I can keep an eye on my chat or my Teams calendar while in a meeting. So I'm thrilled to say that coming next quarter, we will enable multiple Teams windows on iPad. So you can have, thank you, yes, you can applaud, that's great. My fellow iPad users. This is a much, much better experience. Teams on iPad is also going to get the new calendar in Teams. It's a much simpler, better scheduling experience that many of us have already tried on the PC and now will be able to use on iPad as well. We also know that many of you don't get to use personal client devices all the time. In your organizations, you may be using VDI. And there, performance is more important than ever. We know that we've had a lot of work to do in this area. And so Now, available for Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365, we have a new Teams VDI architecture with dramatic performance improvements. This is going to come a little bit later to Citrix, and overall, this brings the VDI experience much closer to what you get on a desktop. One of the things that we've seen increase a lot is the use of Teams for broader communications. So by integrating the announcements that your company makes, the sort of broad one-to-many communications, all in one place, your users get to live in Teams while getting all the various flavors of communication they rely on. Coming to public preview next quarter, we will be integrating Storyline directly in Teams, making it easier for your users to access and discover all those communications from your organizational leaders and fellow colleagues. So those are just a few examples. I promised you real running code. So without further delay, I want to introduce my colleague and friend, Pete, who's going to come up here and show you a lot of the new capabilities in Teams. Pete, come on up. Sir.
Thanks, everyone, and thanks, Ilya. It's great that we've, over the past few months, really had the opportunity to personally use a lot of the innovation that I'll share today. And so I'm excited to share it with the broader audience, as well as how we're actually using this to get work done. Let's start with chats and channels. It should come as no surprise to anyone. It's no secret that just keeping up with the pace and the volume of communications can be daunting and overwhelming. And that is why we've introduced a new chat and channels experience for Teams that is both simple by default and powerful on demand. Arguably, this is one of the biggest updates that we've ever made to Teams, and there are already hundreds of customers that are using this experience in private preview. I'm excited to share that this is now in public preview. So today, you can go out and start experiencing this for yourself, after the session, of course. But let me go ahead and show you how it works. So to start, all of my Teams, chats, and channels are now located in one place under Chats. In my experience, this has just made it much simpler to stay on top of, organize, and access all my communications. But of course, if you prefer, you can keep your chats and channels separate. I've gone ahead and created a custom section for Project 100 that I can organize all of the work streams associated with it, and I can even move the chats and channels here.
I just say personally, I love the quick buttons at the top for filtering. I use that all the time. Show me just the unread, show me just the chats. So that's just one of my favorite little simplicity improvements.
I love it too. I actually, I was traveling into Chicago, and so I missed quite a lot of communications. And so I'm going to use these filters now to focus on the specific types of conversations that I want to prioritize.
Pete is thrifty, doesn't pay for in-flight Wi-Fi.
I have 3 young kids, so flights are when I catch up on sleep, actually. And so here I focused on just unread chats. But to really prioritize the most critical conversations, I can use the new @mentions capability to focus on exactly where I was mentioned in a chat. Ilya, this is a little awkward, but you mentioned that you wanted me to share the launch plans. And so I'll go ahead and open up that conversation and respond to you right here. And there you go.
Okay, nothing like being presented with a long document on stage that I'm supposed to look at. So, can you maybe help me consume that document in an easier way?
You know what, Ilya, I will show you later, but there's actually a way that, I know you love really reading long documents and having everyone kind of watch you do that. But Copilot...
I am not cut out for Amazon, by the way. I am not into the 15 minutes of quiet reading. That is not me.
Well, we can all patiently stand here and wait for you to read this. But as you know, Copilot can help you read this document as well. And so this is just the start of the new Chats and Channels experience. There's plenty more that's coming that we'll be talking about, including the new threaded conversations that will be available next year.
For all of you that maybe have tried out Slack and then kind of missed that in Teams, that feature is for you, coming very soon.
Yeah. But to your earlier point, Ilya, AI is everywhere, and it's fundamentally changing the way that we get work done. In addition to Microsoft 365 Copilot BizChat, there's purpose-built AI innovation embedded throughout all of the team's workloads. And with agents built for specific business processes, the experience is only getting better. So let me show you how we're using AI to manage this project smarter. Now, this chat is pretty busy, but with a new facilitator agent in chat, I can easily catch up on the conversation. Now, I showed it on my screen, but Ilya, you would see the exact same thing on your end as well. And so we can here see things like action items, key insights, any of the actions that we're supposed to take. And for example, the team is waiting for you to actually review that planning document that I shared just moments ago. So I would highly recommend that you leverage Copilot to actually summarize that document.
All right, let's do it. Let's use Copilot.
OK. So I'm going to go ahead and use Copilot and say, please summarize Project 100 in under 200 words.
Under. You said under.
I know. Yeah, that's part of the demo, because Copilot's smart enough to realize I'm going to make typos. So there you go.
That is much better than reading a long document. That's awesome. By the way, other way that we use that, I don't know if you have this, I get added to super long chats all the time. Like somebody will drop me in and go, Ilya, what do you think? And I have to scroll through this massive chat to try to understand it. Now I just say, hey, Copilot, what am I missing? What do I have to look at? It's fantastic for that.
There you go. So you feel ready now? You
yes.
kind of get the gist of it?
Sure.
OK, perfect.
I approve whatever the team is asking.
Excellent. OK, well, so we actually have to join this meeting with the team now to discuss the project launch. And so I'll go ahead and enter the calendar, join this meeting. And there we go.
Hi.
Hey, everyone. Sorry we're a little bit late. I might have just shared that document that Ilya was supposed to review just a few moments ago. But to catch us up, we can use the facilitator agent in meetings as well. And so you can see here, there are real-time AI-generated notes alongside here. And this is to work alongside the generated notes that we can all add as humans.
Yeah, we use this all the time in our meetings, by the way, to both pre-populate an agenda, also combine Copilot-generated notes with manual notes. So like, I had a great customer conversation about this launch recently, and I can add the notes right there. So you get the best of both AI and the people working in the project.
People and AI working together. Perfect. Now, a few months ago, we announced that Copilot can reason over both the spoken transcript of a meeting as well as the written chat. And I'm excited to share that we're now adding the third critical element of meetings, enabling Copilot to reason over the content that's shared on the screen itself. So when Ellie and I joined this meeting earlier, the team was sharing a slide about the value prop of this discussion. And so I'm going to ask Copilot to catch us up, since the team has really moved on from the last topic. And so we'll say, what were the value proposition pillars shared on the slide? And we'll hold our breath.
Real code.
There you go.
All right, how cool is that? Right? It actually understands the slide and helps you summarize and grasp it quickly. By the way, one quick thing about that, I think a really cool use case of that will be in Teams rooms. If you have a whiteboard, an old traditional whiteboard, but you've got a camera pointed at the whiteboard where you can magic share the whiteboard into the meeting, Copilot will be able to reason over whatever is drawn on that whiteboard as well.
Absolutely.
Like that.
Yes, I love how you keep teaming me up with these, Ilya. I'd say the other really interesting piece about this is you can actually see in the citations the slide that was referenced here. And so you can quickly go back to that if you want to see it on the slide as well. But like Ilya mentioned, so much of the meeting occurs in the room and on the whiteboard. And Copilot isn't limited to just recapping what was on a slide or what someone said. It can also combine ideas from the whiteboard, and the slides are presented, and the discussion. So I'm going to ask Copilot to rewrite all the content into a single table, effectively filling in the blanks from the slide that we saw a moment ago. So let's ask Copilot to do that.
This is going to be known as the Copilot pause from now on.
Yes. Look at that.
That's awesome.
So
that's so cool.
you can see all of the details. If you remember, the slide had blanks here earlier. It's actually a little tough to read, so I'm just going to spread this out to make it easy. Perfect. And now it's not only filled in the slide and summarized, it's also referencing the document itself.
How many of you knew that you could resize the side pane, by the way? That's a cool little feature.
It's the little things. But AI is also creating new ways to break down language barriers, helping everyone feel confident and understood. Interpreter, a new agent for Microsoft 365, is allowing everyone to speak and listen in their preferred language by providing real-time interpretation, even using the speaker's own voice. Now, over the past few months or maybe a year, I've been trying to learn German with a heavy emphasis on trying, but we'll see how those lessons have really paid off. And so this meeting is happening right now in English, but when I turn on AI interpretation, you'll hear Amber starting to speak in English, and then in real time it'll be translated into German. And so I will go ahead, turn on AI interpretation, select German, and over to you, Amber.
You guys can't hear it. Oh man, that sucks. It was actually German in her voice. We're not getting the audio from the laptop.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
I was so looking forward to this because I didn't hear clapping when the video of this played in the keynote. So I was like, you guys got to see this live because we've been using it in early ring, real live code, and it's amazing.
So to be clear, it is working.
Yes.
The audio is leaving much to be desired. But this is a perfect pitch for you to come out and check out the Teams booth, and we will show it to you, and you will see all of the magic. So,
and you can practice your high school French or whatever language you may know.
Yeah. So, sehr gut. Danke, Amber.
No, now you hear it.
Okay.
Really? Oh.
All part of the show.
Come on.
Okay. So this was a really quick meeting, but I'm excited to share that Copilot can now reason over up to 8 hours of continuous meeting content for events such as a team training or an offsite.
Okay. What else? Let's see. What am I supposed to do? Oh, interpreter, right.
Yeah.
That's just one part of what we're doing for multilingual meetings. We are also continuing to enhance transcription for multilingual meetings. So the meeting transcript already in our early rings can capture multiple spoken languages. And if we have such a meeting with multiple spoken languages, the transcript, live captions, and intelligent recap will do the translation. Meaning you select the language, the meeting can be truly multilingual. You will consume all that information in the language of your choice. So interpreter, multilingual meetings, these are all ways we're using AI to make meetings more inclusive, more engaging, and really the place, as I said, that you can standardize on for every kind of meeting. Now, I also mentioned Teams being used for phone, for calling, and we have a pretty exciting announcement and new capability that we can show there, so I'll let Pete cue that up.
That was very slick. Okay. so thanks, Ilya. Yeah, now generally available, the Queues app creates a workspace to manage inbound calls for both supervisors and employees, all natively within Teams. Hundreds of customers have already been using the Queues app, and we're really inspired by the way that it's creating higher quality and more engaging customer conversations. And so there's really so much more that I didn't get to show you today, and I guess some that you didn't get to hear. But I hope that you're really energized by what we've been working on. And so with that, I will pass it back to you, Ilya.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Pete. Thank you, sir. Switch back.
Yep.
There we go. Okay, so we talked about the Queues app. The last area that I want to talk about in communications is the idea of information protection and security. And as I mentioned, we are seeing lots of new threat vectors as more and more people use Teams, as more and more people use chat across organizations. So we are working hard to add the tools and capabilities you need to make sure your users stay secure, starting with brand impersonation phishing protection. So now you can actually get that extra level of security based on anyone being able to potentially contact your users. Also, we know that there's been an issue with bots joining meetings. So if you select this policy, well, you're really excited about that, that's awesome. We can prevent bots from joining meetings by using a CAPTCHA test. And last, not really last, there's a lot more features, but the last one I want to talk about is email verification for external participants. This is in private preview now, so if you invite external participants, turn on this policy, they'll get a one-time passcode that they have to enter to say that that is actually the person you invited joining the meeting. Oh, sorry, one last one, I forgot about this. This is a really common scenario. For those of you that use sensitivity labels, you may set, let's say, general sensitivity for a meeting, but then someone shares a file with a higher level of sensitivity. Now, public preview, Teams can automatically upgrade the sensitivity based on content being shared in that meeting. So if someone shares a file marked confidential, the whole meeting sensitivity will be upped. Woo! More people, excellent. So this gives you just a flavor, just a taste of all the things we're doing in Teams to make communication and collaboration simpler, more seamless, smarter, and more secure. I want to now shift gears. I also talked about Teams for your flexible workplace. So let's talk about that a little bit more. As I said earlier, the new reality of work is about flexible work coming together with the power of AI. We talk about this as the AI-powered workplace. And this is a workplace where we know you as administrators, as people that manage those workplace resources for your companies, you need to help your users coordinate so that they are the most productive. They know where their team is working and when. Modernize your workplace with intelligence, with AI capabilities, and optimize that scarce resource in the most effective way possible using insights and analytics. We are delivering these 3 areas of capability through a combination of Microsoft 365 Copilot, Teams, and generally available as of today, Microsoft Places. Yes. I want to actually give you a look at all 3 of these in action. So with that, I want to invite my friend Kerry up to walk you through the AI-powered workplace. Kerry, welcome.
Thanks, Ilya. Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to be here today to tell you a little bit more about the AI-powered workplace, but more importantly, to show you how it's really coming to life and helping my hybrid work day to day. So I don't know about all of you, but in this new flexible work, I start most of my days at home in my calendar. So that's where I want to take us first. So if we look at the new calendar in Teams, hopefully some of you have seen this, but we're really excited about it. It's been redesigned, but it's still familiar enough so that it's really easy to use. And by the way, this is the same calendar that's in New Outlook. What's great is elements of both Copilot and Places have been added in. So if you look across the top, you see these location icons. And let's look at today. You see that I've got a sparkle on my proposed remote working location. So I'm going to click on that to see, that indicates that there's more for me to know. When I click on that, it opens the Places card, which is a great snapshot of my day. It tells me what colleagues are coming in. It gives me helpful advice. I'll get to that in a second. It could also help me book rooms and desks, do a variety of things, understand important meetings. But in particular today, it's told me, this is Copilot functionality, and it's told me today is a great day to go into the office. But it doesn't just do that, it tells me why. It talks about in-person meetings I might have, as well as the colleagues that are coming in. I think it looks like a good day to go into the office.
And so does Copilot.
So I'll quickly update it. You can see my location has changed to the office. And it can either be remote and in office, or it can be specific buildings. What's great is, automatically, it brings up to me, hey, you haven't booked any rooms, you're going into the office. So I can quickly use QuickBook to book the rooms that I have for meetings. And what's great here, again, there's a lot of flexibility. You can choose certain meetings that you don't want the room, or you can click.
I know that room. We've met in that room.
So I'm going to just accept all of these rooms. And so now, it's that simple. I'm ready to go into the office. I have all of my rooms booked. But one of the things that I've noticed with my team is we love flexibility. It's fantastic. But we also really value our time together. So I want to show you how I can now provide a little bit more purpose to my team of a day that we might come into the office. I've just clicked on the Places app in Teams. I click over to the People tab. You see I get another work plan view of all of my colleagues. But right now, I want to show you team guidance. So it's pretty simple. I know for a variety of reasons that Tuesday's probably going to be the best day to go in. So I quickly set Tuesday as a team collaboration day and provide recommendations as to why to go in. So again, it's really about providing that purpose to my team. I know we can focus on one-on-one meetings, or we can focus on team meetings, other activities where we're all working together. You see it popped up on my calendar, but it also shows up on the calendar of my team. Don't worry, this is not a mandate. This is just a recommendation for them so that they see this is a great opportunity to come in.
It's a great way of digitizing that ROB that I talked about, of like, hey, Tuesdays is our LT meeting, Thursdays are our product reviews. If you're brand new to the team, how are you supposed to know that? Well, this lands it right in your calendar.
Exactly, and it's a great time to talk to your team about how things are going. Could we move meetings around? In fact, I'm pretty sure that my team meeting is not on Tuesdays. So I'm gonna click into that and move it to Tuesdays. So what's great is I can click right in, and I can see with Places Finder, which is a great way to book rooms. It just gives you a little bit more information, including those pictures that you love, so you know exactly what room you're going to. But what's great is here at the top, rebook declined rooms. So let's say I pick a room that I really like for the meeting, I send it out, but who among us has not moved the time of the meeting? And then you've got two groups standing in front of a conference room, both saying, this is my conference room.
Conference room chicken. We play it all the time.
Chicken. Now Copilot will automatically rebook the conference room. If you move your meeting to a time and that original one is booked, no worries, because it'll move to a similarly sized with the same technology, so you can rest assured you will always have a conference room. So I'm really excited. I've booked all my space for the day. I've let my teammates know that I'm going in. I'm ready to go in and see everyone in person.
Great. Excellent. Now, one of the things that I find these days when I go in person, even though we have the policy, we've coordinated, we may end up in the same building, but still apart. So I don't know how many of you experience joining a Teams meeting and going, hey, that looks like the background down the hall. Happens all the time to us. And that's one of the things that I really wish could be made better in terms of something signaling us to say, you're physically in proximity, why don't you get together in a room? So.
Well, good news, we've got you covered there too. So we notice the same problem. Sometimes it's a matter of somebody's on a different floor from you in the same building and you just don't realize they're in. But the great news is we've also added workplace presence in Teams, easily accessible. So the same presence that you know, I'm in a meeting right now, you can also set an actual location there. So whether it's, again, in office or remote, or you can put a specific building in there. And the value of this is then when you're in your Teams chat, you can see who else is near you. Whether it's a group chat or an individual, you know if somebody else is in the same building. It's really, again, providing just more purpose to those days in office and bringing people together. So that's all set. I think we're also looking at adding some auto updates to workplace presence.
Yes, so thanks for that tee up. Yes, we are going to be doing some very interesting things around automatically letting users update their presence, but also reserve resources. So one of the things that users already know how to do, their current muscle memory, is to plug in. I come to a desk, I plug into a monitor or a dock or something. Wouldn't it be great if just that act would reserve the desk without any extra hardware? It's exactly what we're doing. So we have taken our same technology that we started with BYOD rooms. We can identify a shared space just by people plugging into it with Teams client. And once that space has been marked as a desk, if I come along and plug in, that desk gets automatically reserved for me. We're going to be doing a lot more here in places using Wi-Fi and other signals for automatic location updates. The key point for you is that all of these signals are going to come together in places, and that makes it easier for our colleagues to figure out where we are and to get together productively.
Fantastic. And where will all of that show up once all those signals come in?
Yes. So everything will end up in both places for space analytics and the Room Management Pro portal. So we know that you sort of choose where you live as an IT administrator, and we want to make sure that you get all the insights you need to manage your resources in that place. So we're going to have all that signal come in, as you're seeing here, into space analytics, but also we're working to cross-connect between Teams rooms and places so that you get that full insight in both locations.
That's wonderful.
And let me tell you a little bit more about a couple of enhancements we're making to Teams rooms before handing it back to you, Kerry, for a demo. So one of the ones that we've been working on for quite a while, and I'm super happy to say it's now generally available, is digital signage. I've had the pleasure of seeing this at Microsoft in our hallways for a few months, and I love it. Like walking down our hallways, seeing the rooms have dynamic content, things that are interesting for me as information, it really just makes the workplace feel more alive and more dynamic. And so now all of you with Teams Rooms Windows can use digital signage from our partners or just a straight URL. And this is going to be coming to Teams Rooms Android as well in the first half of calendar 2025. And going back to our AI point, most of you now know that for AI to be useful, it all starts with knowing who said what. Copilot has to understand who said what in order to provide all those amazing capabilities that Pete showed. So a while ago, we introduced speaker recognition for every Teams room, regardless of hardware. Now, as much as I would love all of you to say every space in your organization has a Teams room, we know that's not the reality. People get together and meet in any space, just with the laptops that they have. So I'm excited to announce that we now have generally available speaker recognition for BYOD spaces. Using the same voice enrollment, Copilot now can know who said what, even if all you're using is a laptop for your meeting. So all of this is designed for all of us as end users to have a better experience. As I mentioned earlier, I am an admin for my wife's small business. I know many of you are administrators. So let's take a look at what we're doing to make your admin experiences better, starting with the Teams Rooms Pro portal.
Perfect. Thanks, Ilya. That is the great part of the AI-powered workplace. Of course, it adds value to all end users, but it's helpful for IT admins as well. So let's start by talking about the auto association of peripherals in BYOD. We know when we announced this, we've heard from you that if you have a large number of BYOD rooms, associating each peripheral with those rooms can be pretty time-consuming. So that's why we're auto-updating that for you. So now within the Pro Management portal, the portal will actually recommend to IT admins to associate peripherals with certain resource accounts based on when users plug into those devices. It's just a great way to make it a much more seamless process, and you'll still get all of the value of the full inventory of that automatic association. The other thing that we've talked about a few times is desks. And
Yes.
in fact, bookable desks. So we know it's important to book individual desks, whether in the Places Finder or using the value of just walking up to a desk and plugging in, as Ilya talked about bookable desks. But equally important to that end user experience is the utilization. So in this new flexible work, we know it's important to understand how your spaces are being used and how many are being used. You might need fewer desks or more desks, but now you've got the utilization reports and the analytics to help you make really data-driven decisions relative to this.
And this is part of our commitment of making sure, effectively, there's no dark spaces in your organizations. We're going to help using Teams to shine a light on every room, every desk, give you insight about literally every space that today is maybe dark for IT.
Absolutely. The last feature that I want to talk about is pretty exciting as well. So the AI assistant in the Pro Management Portal helps you stay in the flow of work that you're already in within the Pro Management Portal. So it allows you to ask questions. All you have to do is click on the AI assistant, and let's say you're looking at maybe something simple, but you just don't want to click out and dig through reference material. You want to understand the difference between a one-time password and an autopilot. You can simply type the question in, and again, the AI assistant will comb through those resource documents and give you a concise but detailed answer so that you can then quickly understand. But this is pretty basic, right? Just asking about the difference between two features. So let's put something a little more tenant-specific and complex into. So let's say that you're looking over the past 2 weeks and you want to understand how many devices were deployed by both name and location. It's as simple as that. You can quickly and easily get all of the information that you need in a really easy to read and easy to use format. It's great.
I'm so excited about this because if you're like me, you've got multiple admin windows open and then always a browser because you're going to go into the browser to search for whatever issue you're trying to look up. But the results you get are not in your context. They're not about your environment, your version of software. So bringing this AI-powered assistance right into the admin window lets me search for that information, but with the added knowledge of my own environment, and the answers come back specific to me. So no more window switching is what I'm looking forward to.
It really is making the Pro Management Portal a powerful ally in how you're managing your IT environment in this flexible work. So thank you, Ilya, for letting
Kerry.
me chat about the AI-powered workplace.
Thank you so much, Kerry. Now, we know that you also use other admin tools, and of course, Teams Admin Center is a key one. We are not forgetting about AI in Teams Admin Center. So I'm also excited to announce private preview of Copilot in Teams Admin Center. This lets you use natural language to ask for more information or even help doing complex tasks like setting up a protected meeting or assigning a phone number to a user or groups of users. Just like Kerry showed, this will provide insights. It'll help with troubleshooting tips. It basically gives you that extra AI-powered boost to help you optimize your team's environment so that your users get the best possible experience. One other capability, switching tracks a little bit from AI, that many of you have asked for is to be able to delegate administration of Teams users for a specific location or business unit, basically a subset of your users. So I'm also really excited that finally we have general availability of administrative units in Teams. Thank you. I know you've waited quite a while for this. So this lets you delegate that management, helps you scale to much larger deployments. As I said at the very beginning, this is just a sample of all the things that we're delivering and working on. There's so much more that the minute and a half on my clock won't let me talk about today. There's a ton that you can learn on a specific website that we've set up just for Ignite. Please come on down to our booth. come on over to talk to our experts. We've got other sessions, including a great one on places, so much more that is available for you. And then the last pitch that I want to make is some of the things we've shown you, many of those experiences are premium value. They're part of the Teams premium package. And this is something that I think all of you and your users will get a lot of benefit from trying. So I want to invite you to get started today with a free trial at this website. With that, I want to add or end by thanking you. It has been an incredible journey for many of us working on these products. I've been in this field for now 12 years at Microsoft out of my total 30 career. Watching what all of you have done with Teams, with the feedback to help us improve Teams, with how together we've really changed how companies work, has been incredible. And it's just such a privilege for me to represent the team in saying thank you. Thank you for being part of our team. Thank you for continuing to help us make the product better. And thank you for really being at the center of everything we deliver. Together, we're going to continue to shape the future of communications and collaboration. I hope you're excited as I am. Thank you.